the mechanism of the body and the mind of George, that we call George. Now that body and the mind we call George is, I mean, it's human, it's male, it's Caucasian, European, raised at a certain socioeconomic level, with a certain religious background, with all of these qualities and characteristics that are put on top of the basic meat, you see, to form George. And what is really interesting to watch is that George is a work in progress. George is in flux. George is constantly changing. That what George is hearing right now is changing George. And how George will walk out of the room is different, will be a different responsive organism. In other words, the responses of the organism will be different having sat in the room for an hour or an hour and a half or however long you're here than the George that walked in. So this programming, if you will, of the organism is dynamic and it's constant. And as you begin to see this connection between the animating force and the actions, you can begin to see how the actions and the thoughts and the feelings are a product of this vast complex of influences, which are totally outside of George's control. I mean, you can't make this evening happen. You can't make me say what I'm saying to you. You can't, you weren't able to arrange for your parents, and you weren't able to arrange for the good people that you met and the cruel and unkind people that you met, and all of the ones in between who have influenced you and formed you as the person you are today. All of these things get delivered by vast, vast forces outside of your control. And as you begin to see this process in action, as it becomes very clear that that's what is happening,
absolutely,
then the whole sense of obligation to manage your life and your future and to manage in general diminishes. Not to act, mind you, because the actions are a result of all of these forces, but it is that sense of obligation, what we'll call the ego sense. That is what is diminished by seeing what's going on. And it's not about learning how to do this breath or how to do that mantra or this over here or that over there. I mean, those things may be part of the process, but it is really about seeing. Seeing things as they are. Seeing clearly what's going on. What forces are truly at work. When you're seeing clearly, when you're seeing what's actually happening, you're now in alignment with what's going on. When you are laboring under the false notion that I am the master of my destiny, that I'm creating it all, that I'm making it happen, then you're actually at war with what's happening around you. Because are clearly not able to manage it all. So the only way that you can survive in that is to lie to yourself. To ignore the obvious, to build a fantasy world in which you give energy and attention only to that which subscribes or correlates to what you believe, ignoring everything else that's going on. And when you're trying to function in such a world, you're suffering. And when the Buddha said that life is suffering, what he's pointing to is that attempting to live in this artificial construct in which you believe yourself to be the center of the universe, to be the master of all that you survey, is suffering.